All right, and we are live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Greenville and Illinois men's gymnastics meet brought to you by Virtius. My name is Carlos Ojeda. I'm an elite gymnast, coach, and judge and graduate from Texas A&M University, joined today by gymnastics legend Jim Holt. Jim, say hello.
Buddy, it's really exciting to be here for our first broadcast, at least Carlos's and mine first broadcast this year as we watch, I think, our visiting team, the University of Illinois, walk into the gym and line up on the floor.
Yes, sir. Very exciting. Very exciting. Just first time commentating. It's an honor to be here with you, Jim. So let's get right into it. Today we have a matchup against number 4 Illinois, along with number 9 Greenville. Just some little background information. Illinois finished off their NCAA season with a third place finish last year, led by their newly minted head coach Daniel Ribeiro. And Greenville is coming in on their second NCAA season, coached by Zach Peters. Jim, is there any routine in particular you're excited to see today?
I just want to see a lot of hit sets with quality execution. It's early in the season, and the teams are going to be spending most of January, February, honing their skills and trying to clean things up. And then when we get to March, through the month of March, they'll be peaking towards the NCAA championships, which will happen sometime in April. I believe at Ohio State University. Isn't that correct?
I think that's correct. Yes, I'm excited to watch the NCAA championships. Undoubtedly the most electric competition I've ever attended year after year. I mean, it's the best of the best coming head to head and showing off their best gymnastics, especially during this year in particular, because we have the Olympic Games coming up. So we're literally going to see some of the guys who are going to be representing Team USA out on the floor. So it's going to be very exciting, awesome season to watch.
Well, one of the things that I find really interesting is to compare these two programs. Just as you pointed out, Carlos, Greenville University is just embarking on its second season, which they do have a blue blood bloodline, I guess. Zach Peters, their coach, was a distinguished gymnast at the University of Nebraska, which is one of the legendary NCAA programs. And Illinois has been around for at least 3/4 of a century, has won multiple NCAA team championships itself. And Daniel Ribeiro, who is, as you pointed out, in his second season, Daniel was NCAA Pommel horse champion in 2011. Most recently was the head coach of he was in charge of both the men's and women's teams at last year's Maccabean Games in Israel, the major international multi-sport event for the Jewish people. And
That's right.
Really looking forward to seeing what he's going to do with the Illini this season.
Absolutely. Those guys are definitely looking to get back on the podium, if not, trying to threaten for that first place position. But yeah, in particular for this competition today, I am very excited to see routines from guys like, Tate Costa and Connor McCool from Illinois. Connor McCool has one of the coolest floor routines in the nation right now. He is somebody who's definitely going for that top spot to try to become national champion and even Big Ten champion yet again. And then on the Greenville side, there's obviously a lot of rising talent, but I'm looking forward to seeing strong performances from Jacob Foster, Ricky Mays, and of course, one of my former teammates, Sergei Popov.
I was wondering when I looked at the lineups whether he had been one of your guys at Cyprus. For I assume many of our viewers, if you're watching college men's gymnastics instead of the NFL playoffs this afternoon, you're very aware of Cyprus Gymnastics in Texas. Head coach Tom Meadows has produced many top-level American gymnasts. Jonathan Horton is one of his top guys, I believe, the name out of gymnastics history. So Sergey, I believe, is going to be competing. I don't think he's on floor today, but he's on a number of events a little bit later on, correct?
Correct. He should be on the Still Rings lineup, and he has gotten so strong this summer. So, looking at the lineups right now, he's going to be number 4 on the Rings lineup. So that's going to be a good routine to watch. And I think hopefully later in the season he can break into some more. I see that he's also on parallel bars. Another really good, strong event for him. But that guy is a beast to train with in the gym. I mean, one of my favorite training partners ever. He brings the energy that I need anytime I was having a bad day in the gym. And I mean, yeah, that guy is awesome. So I hope to see some awesome performances from him. In particular, a lot of the guys on the Greenville team are just going to, I mean, they're hungry. They want to make it to that NCAA final. And honestly, I think this would be a great year for them to break through and do that.
Well, we're going to find out as we go this afternoon. The fans are watching, and I see we've got a graphic up for the starting lineups. I think possibly the teams are on the one touch. We'll wait for the feed. For those of you who are wondering, Carlos and I are actually working remote. Here we go.
Oh, here we go, Jim. All right, first guy up is Mr. Michael Avery from Texas. Trained at Enriched Gymnastics. Good double front, slight hop forward. Now getting to some of the non-acrobatic elements. Here we have a split to a press handstand. The gymnast needs to hold it for at least 2 seconds to receive full credit. And that was a great 2-second hold going into the next pass. Solid triple full. Nice easy whip to full pass. Minimizing those deductions, Jim, what are we thinking?
I think it's been a clean routine so far. Let's see if he can handle his dismount.
All right, here we go. Winding up for the end. Darted 2.5 dismount. It's going to get that 10th bonus. Very solid routine for Greenville. And that's how you start a meet.
Yeah, that was a really good lead off. And tactically, you really want to put up a solid guy as your first competitor so that you can build a score going forward. And I would also notice, as you pointed out, a couple of those routines actually had, or a couple of those passes actually had stuck landings, which is sort of a bane of mine to see guys hopping around on the floor when they don't have to. So that was really very well done by Mr. Avery. And I believe who's our first Illinois gymnast?
This is Sebastian Ingersoll from Illinois. He is a great pommel horse guy. I haven't personally seen him compete on floor. Just personally, I haven't seen any videos, but I mean, I'm excited to see some Illinois tumbling because these guys are insane on floor. I mean, all of them in this lineup. I'm excited to see what else. So, see this first guy going in, Sebastian on floor. Nice front layout to front double full. Same pass as Michael Avery mounted with.
Whoa!
Oh no, unlucky landing. Let's see. All right, looks like he tweaked himself just a little bit. Let's see if he can pick up and finish strong. Come on now. 2.5 tuck full.
Punch full. Pardon me, I'm speaking over you.
No,
please continue,
all
Carlos.
good, all good. And I think that's one of the things that people don't really. All good, all good. I was just going to say that it's very awesome to see this guy just bouncing back even after a heavy fall like that, going in and try to finish strong. Look at that. Another good solid pass. Winding up. Last pass. All right. Probably played it safe at the end after that first landing. I hope he's all right.
Walking off under his own power. That was 5-point landing on that second pass. Unfortunately, Sebastian hopefully will be recovered completely by Pommel horse. He also pointed out in our notes, he says one of the reasons he went to the University of Illinois as opposed to some other programs that he had options for, he says, and I quote, "The Illinois team spirit is unlike any other team in that the whole team is a family. I've known all of the coaches for my gymnastics career, and they're super high energy." And boy, I know that for a fact too. John Osborne is one of the assistant coaches there, and he's been around Illinois gymnastics just about forever. Wonderful guy. I actually worked with him at a camp years ago, and here we are.
Mac Pollock on floor. Looked like the video lagged just a bit. I think he killed that double back. Nice 4.5 layout. Now let's see, third pass. Oh, front full. Gave away a little bit of a hop right there. Solid double full, just slightly crossed legs going down the side. Another non-acrobatic element, holding that V for 2 full seconds. Very nice, Mac.
Good, Mac. Let's go, Mac. Come on, Mac. Swipe. Good job. Let's go.
Oh, simple back layout going down the diagonal. I think winding up for the dismount right here. Let's see what we got. Oh, unlucky. Just a bit short on that triple full.
A little short. Now, one of the things I think we want to watch for, again, another little technical thing when you're trying to look at overall routine composition, is when the gymnasts are doing these little turns in the corner, and especially that one just before the side pass, one has to be tactically aware of where you are on the floor. Many times, you really don't need to make a turn all the way into the far corner, because if you have a 3-foot turn into a corner and you land at the end of your pass 5 or 6 feet away from the edge, you don't need to change.
Right.
You don't need to roll into the corner. And
100%. Here we have Michael Fletcher from Illinois. Awesome double-double going from a round-off. That's how you know he's a powerful athlete. To be able to do a pass that big out of a round-off is insane. Here we have 2.5 tucked full. Love that kick out. Just overcooked it a hair. And here we have a nice Fedorchenko for his non-acrobatic element.
A little bit on that, Carlos.
Sorry, one more time. I think I missed you there.
He traveled a little bit on that. Like
he did travel a bit,
yeah. A woo.
Exactly, a woo going down the floor. Fortunately, no bonus points for that, but still gets credit for 3 Russians. Here we have a nice 4.5 to front full darted. Here we go, winding up for the last pass. All right, solid finish from Michael Fletcher. He's pumped up for it, as is that team. That was a great set. What I've noticed is that 3 of the athletes so far have mounted with that front layout to front double full pass. Obviously, Michael ended up switching the 2 in his routine, but I mean that's a very popular combination going into each floor routine. Pardon me, I had a bit of a tickle in my throat right there. But yeah, I mean, awesome routine by Michael Fletcher.
Okay, looks like we're ready to go.
Here we have Logan Watterson from Greenville. He's a kid from Woga. Oh, here's something new. Layout to double front. That was massive. Slightly undercooked front double full. And Jim, what did that pass look like to you? Because I saw a front full to a front full.
That's kind of what it looked like to me. And I want to make a comment here about some of the ode to gymnastics history here when it gets to the end of this set. Our first pirouette. That's very honesty.
There we go. Got to do anything to get that non-acrobatic element. Half pirouette fulfills that requirement, thankfully. Winding up, nice 2.5 to finish. Another solid routine for Greenville. They're holding their own right now. Very impressed.
Hey, I was going to say, it was really interesting. You pointed out that double front as a mount. The very first double front done in international competition, at least, was done by Yuri Korolev as a world all-around champion in Navy 2. And the first double full front, the first front double full was done by a British gymnast named Neil Thomas, who did it in the early 90s. So,
really?
For those of us who've been around a little while, it's fascinating to see these guys revive these skills and how they are now integrated into routines just as Another huge
No kidding.
double-double. Carlos, take it away.
Yeah, for sure. So here we have Amari Sewell from University of Illinois. Let's see. Double front full to tuck front full. Had to make it work. Looks like he was a bit off on the punch. Amari used to compete for the University of Iowa before the program unfortunately shut down following COVID. So it's great to see that he's continuing his gymnastics career and contributing to the University of Illinois. I've seen him in the last couple of lineups in the last couple of years, and he's doing great things on vault. I saw a video of him doing a full in, one of the hardest vaults ever being done. This guy is someone who is powerful. Nice 2.5 layout. Back 1.5 to laid out front full. Standing upright on that pass, very nice. Don't want to have the shoulders over. If not, that incurs another deduction. Ooh, solid full in, just a slight step forward, slightly undercooked, but not bad. Another good hit for the Fighting Illini.
I'm hoping we'll see Amari on vault. He was All-American on that event last year. And one little update or correction there. Carlos, when you speak about Iowa, what happened is they dropped their funding for the program after COVID, so are no longer recognized as one of their varsity programs, but the program still continues and thrives under the direction of longtime coach Tom Dunn as a GymAct program, which is the non-football funded branch of men's collegiate gymnastics.
That is correct. Thank you for the clarification there. I did leave out that they were a GymAct program. They actually won the GymAct Nationals in their first inaugural season. And yeah, they were led by a lot of awesome, strong athletes who decided to stay and keep that program going. So very good on them. Here we have Charles Kramer on floor, mounting with 2 very strong passes. Nice double back. Got to fulfill that double flipping requirement on floor. Solid back layout side pass. It's really either that or a back double full. I mean, aside from Michael Avery doing a whip to back full on the side pass, those are going to be the 2 most popular for sure.
Rudy front full, forward roll, press to handstand. With the splits in between, of course.
Sir, upgrading that press to handstand by 1/10 because it comes from a split, making it a B value press. Looks like he's winding up for this last pass, taking his time in the corner, catching his breath. Come on now. Solid 2.5 finish, slight hop back, fulfills the dismount requirement for a D to get the full difficulty. And Greenville is putting up a great fight right now. I'm very impressed by these men, holding it up against a Big Ten team. Jim, what do you think?
I see 11/10ths difference through the first 3 rotations. I'm pretty impressed myself. I think it's really a tribute to the coaching staff there and Zach Peters, and frankly, a statement about the depth of American men's gymnastics. That a young school like this can hang in there with a traditional power.
Absolutely. Here we have Tate Costa, team captain for the Fighting Illini, mounting up on floor. Handspring Randy, slight hop towards the end, but stayed on his feet. It's a very hard pass to mount
Tell our
with.
viewers what a Randy is.
A Randy is a front flip with 2.5 twists. Valued at an E, making it 5/10 added to his difficulty score. And here we have a beautiful V pressed through to handstand, taking his time, showing off his strength.
Let's go, floor.
Transitioning to a split to wide arm handstand. Really racking up his difficulty with these non-acro skills. Funny little transition there, going right into a round off layout. I was not ready for that. Getting creative. See what we got here. Slight delay on the video. I think he did a 2.5 to front layout there. There it is. All right, winding up for this final pass. Just slightly unlucky off to the side. Going for that handspring double full. Oh, that was such a good routine up until the end. What do you think, Jim?
Well, I think if Daniel Ribeiro were going to ask me, I'd suggest to remove the front handspring and just do the double full out of an underarm throw. But in any event,
Let's go, Conley.
overall, solid routine. And I will defer to your technological
This is you here, Conley. Come on,
understanding
man.
or expertise. That might have been a little glitch in our feed, but for a moment there, I thought that was an unbelievable gravity-defying hold move where the gymnast was able to stop in the middle of a twist.
Oh, I was no kidding, man. I don't know what to value that, honestly. I was going to give him a D just because it looked good. Maybe even a +1 for that. +1 for originality.
Or you could give it an I for impossible.
Exactly. Here we have Zach Connolly for Greenville, closing out as the anchor for floor. First pass, a popular front layout to front double full, stays on his feet. Then moving forward in the second pass, nice full in. Looks like, I think he's still in bounds, so I don't think there's a flag for that. Nice triple full for the third pass. There's an interesting strategy here because normally I see the triple full as a dismount, but it looks like Greenville's opting to do a 2.5 instead of the triple full at the end. Jim, what do you think about that?
I think it's smart because theoretically the triple full is a little harder, although it's hard. Difficulty-wise, the triple full, you have to have 180-degree rotation additional to the 2.5, of course. But the 2.5 is a blind landing, so it depends. If you're confident with your triple, do it, get it out of the way, square it off, and then finish with the slightly less energy requiring
pass. Correct. Let's see what
2.5.
we got here. 2.5. Very good finish for Mr. Zach Connolly of Greenville. And now this routine coming up, Jim. This one right here, Mr. Connor McCool. I love watching this guy's gymnastics. I mean, he has the most insane tumbling I've seen from an American in a while. I mean, he is tremendous. I hope he puts up his full difficulty because this is going to be an exciting routine to watch.
Number 4, it's jam-packed, folks, so hold on to your seats.
Let's see for this first pass. Will he go for it? A massive 2.5 twisting double back, guarded. Unbelievable. Let's see what we got for round 2. The same pass with half a twist left, stuck again. This is why he is the top floor worker in the country right now. Let's see what we got. Slight bobble on the double full to front layout. Intricate butterfly twist. Jim, you see many of those?
Last one that I really remember is Song Fei, but that goes back a couple of decades.
That's right. Oh, a nice, beautiful front 2.5. So you've got a couple more passes to work through. 3.5, slight bobble. Working his way to the other corner. Back 2.5, front half. Looked like he might have overcooked the 2.5 just a hair. I've seen him do a front full out of that. Doesn't matter. Worked it well nonetheless. And a solid triple full finish. Very good for Mr. Connor McCool. What do you think about that routine, Jim?
I think that's an amazing set. I mean, it just is mind-blowing. And that 2.5 twisting double back to mount, it's like, how does a guy that tall and lean generate that kind of power? Just, it's really an extraordinary routine. One of my favorite gymnasts in the NCAAs, and can't wait to see what he does throughout the Big Ten season and into the NCAA championships.
Could not agree more. Let's look at this recap real quick. So, looks like the top scorer for the Greenville Panthers is Michael Avery with a 13.35, solid stuck dismount. And we're currently waiting on Mr. Connor McCool's score, but I want to say that was the routine that put the stamp for the Fighting Illini on this rotation. Here we have a 13.65. Looks like the judges didn't agree with me on that one. However, Mr. Michael Fletcher came in with a nice 14.3. Very solid, very clean set. And looks like there's a 2-point gap between Greenville and Illinois. What are we thinking, Jim?
I think that's a real testament to what Greenville's been able to accomplish in a very short period of time. I think we understand that they are not going to emerge victorious in this competition. But to hang in there with a program as established as Illinois, they're doing a great job. So let's just hope when we get to Pommel Horse, we get 10 sticks out of 10 routines, and we'll see. But I'm telling you, these guys, I'm impressed. Greenville is working within, and this is the important thing in gymnastics. The single most important thing on game day is to hit your routines without any breaks. And they're really doing a fine job working within the level of skills that they're able to do.
100%.
Excuse me, I didn't mean to talk over you.
No. Go right ahead. Finish your thought. Go right ahead.
Tactically intelligent gymnastics, and that really will be a positive thing for them throughout the rest of this meet, presumably, and definitely going forward throughout the year.
Absolutely. No kidding. I mean, these guys put up a tremendous fight against Illinois, and Illinois had some bobbles as well in their lineups. I think they had a total of 2 falls, but even then, they had guys coming in one after the other, picking each other up and making sure that they were going to put up some strong performances, and that's why they came out victorious in this rotation. I'm very excited to see this next horse rotation in particular, because we have Mr. Landon Bennis from Greenville, who's going to be showcasing some awesome pommel horse. I got to watch him compete last year as a junior. And of course, for the Fighting Illini, there is Mr. Preston Nye, whose older brother was the youngest ever NCAA pommel horse champion. And that was Brandon Nye, who
sure.
Yeah, man. No, he was an amazing pommel horse worker. So his brother is also very good, awesome all-around gymnast, former junior national team member. So I'm excited to see that routine, along with Mr. Brandon Dang, a pommel horse national champion on the junior side.
From San Jose, California, I believe.
That is correct. Yes, sir.
One of the things go ahead.
No, go right ahead. I was just going to say that Mr. Vahe Petrosian is another guy from California who's on the USA senior national team, and has an amazing pommel horse routine with huge flares, huge difficulty. So that was just another athlete that I'm excited to watch.
Well, we'll see what happens here in just a minute. Now, Carlos, why don't you remind the viewers what we're going to be looking for in terms of the composition of a routine on the pommel horse?
Absolutely, Jim. So on pommel horse, there are 4 element groups that the gymnast needs to fulfill. The first one is the scissor element group. Okay, a lot of the popular scissors we'll see is a double scissor going up from one end to the middle, or even from the middle to the end. The second element group is going to be support skills such as circles, any sort of flopping elements, or even spindle type moves or handstand style skills. Our third element group is going to be any skill that travels across the horse. And then to cap it off is the dismount, which can be a Russian flank style dismount or a popular handstand dismount from either the side or from the single pommel, or even from a flare, as I think we'll see from Mr. Vahe on this first routine. All right, looks like they're about to get started. Here we have freshman Vahe Petrosian. This is going to be an exciting routine to watch. Very nice scissor full going into the middle. Breaking out right into those flares, starting off with a skill called an I-corn. Then again, without the travel, very nice Vahe. Going over both handles, getting him that D value travel. Slightly off. Redeemed it on that double Russian, going right into a flare travel. Pushing back into another flare Salvato. Winding up for the dismount. A reverse Stockley and a hit routine for the Fighting Illini. Jim, what do you think of that routine?
I thought that was a good set. Again, I use the word tactical. You want to stay on the horse above all, and that double Russian, that 720 circle rotation on the end there, I think should have been I think he was planning a triple, but we saw his legs separate, so he, in the middle of the set, made an adjustment and broke it off after 2 circles in order to stay on the horse and continue his routine and regain his rhythm. Very well done. It's difficult to even with the experience that Mr. Petrosian has, to be the leadoff guy on Pommel horse. Equivalent to women doing the balance beam. One little mistake and you're on the floor.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is tough to be the guy to start off the guys on a Pommel horse rotation. But I mean, Bahe held his own and covered very well out of that double Russian. And next up, we have Mr. Landon Bennis from Greenville. Here he mounts with a huge scissor pull up the side. Very nice. This guy has a very nice look to his Pommel horse. Very good flop work coming up here. 4 parts making an E flop. Dropping a nice check here to a Stockley B down. Oh, look at that. Beautiful Roth to a triple Russian combination. I wish there was connection bonus on Pommel horse because that was done beautifully. All right, and a solid finish for Mr. Landon Bennis, freshman for Greenville University. Notice how on that routine, Jim, at the very end, he did not do an extra pirouette. So he's going to be getting a C value for that dismount and won't be fulfilling the element group all the way through, but he will get at least 3/10 for doing a C value dismount. What do you think was the strategy with that, Jim? Do you have any comments on that routine?
Again, I just want to make sure, I think that they're working within their ability. I also think it's very clear that Mr. Bennis at least really loves the woo and travel. He loves the Russian type skills. Did a Roth. His last travel there was a Tong Fei named after the famous Chinese gymnast from the 80s. It did a skill to travel outside the pommels.
Yes, sir. And now we have Mr. Preston Nye on Pommel horse with a nice McCulloch. Nice double scissor up to the middle. Nice E Russian. Just a little loose in the legs right there, but not too bad. Good check there. Nice Stockley B down. Right into a woo. Slight flickering. Up, losing it. Up. Getting back on it. There we go. Taking his time with the circles. Oh, just unlucky on that dismount. He really wanted to finish it out. He's debating whether to repeat it again. If I were his coach, I would tell him to definitely take his time and then put his hand up and finish that routine strong.
You've got 30 seconds to remount, so you should take as long as you need. Deep breath. Visualize the element in your mind. Take deep breaths and try to calm yourself.
Absolutely. Here we have Mr. Preston finishing it up. Come on now. Right up that handstand. Very nice. All right. Just an unfortunate fall for Mr. Preston, but otherwise a very solid routine up until the end. Next up for the Greenville Panthers, we have Kobe Cantu. Sorry, Jim, go right ahead.
No, I was just going to say it looked like he confused the shoulder stand dismount with the handstand, and you really want to go to the handstand every time. Shoulder stand is very old school and rather clump. Well, actually, no. Up until the shoulder stand is a ring skill for beginners. You don't really want to do it on Pommel horse at all. But in any event, he's got really nice extension and stretched really well. Just unfortunate there at the end.
Absolutely. Here we have Mr. Kobe Cantu, another Texas boy representing Greenville University. Sophomore season, mounting off with an easy A scissor. Nice check here. Going into his flop work. Look at that. Oh, I spoke too soon. Just had the shoulders just a little offset. Talking to Coach Zach Peters.
Unfortunately, certainly not trying to diminish what these guys are trying to do, but a seat drop on the end is it's a trampoline skill, not really appropriate for pommels, as we're about to remount.
All right, come on now, Kobe, getting back into it. Nice Stockley B down. Beautiful Magyar, pushing back into a nice Savato. Very square, very good. Finishing up for the dismount. All right. A simple circle to handstand. I think he wanted that pirouette, but at the same time also just wanted to finish that routine. It's going to leave a dent on this team's score. Go on, Jim. Sorry about that.
Carlos, you've called several skills by names that don't actually describe what they're doing. And let me just explain to maybe our more casual viewers. The McCulloch, which we saw the scissor from one end to the other, was named after an American gymnast, Sam McCulloch, who was multiple times national all-around champion, three-time U.S. Olympian. The Magyar was named after Zoltan Magyar, the great Hungarian, who was a double Olympic gold medalist on the Pommel horse. And we're about to start our next Pommel routine.
Yes, sir. All right, here we go with Mr. Sebastian, who is an amazing horse worker. Let's see that nice double scissor in the middle. Look at that. Beautiful reverse stock lead, beautiful full care. Those skills are called a bazugo and a sewn. We have some nice support skills. Good Russian flop down the end. Oh, look at that. How I wish there was connection bonus on Pommel horse, because this guy would be the king of it. Look at that. Right to the dismount.
Roth to Wu, the triple walk around. Amazing. Ooh. And again, our names. Wu was a Chinese Olympic champion. Bill Roth was a gymnast at Temple University who competed at the World Championships in the early 90s. Jonas Savato is a European gymnast who did the reverse Magyar. For those of you who think that this may be a little arcane, it's a shorthand for naming the skill after the gymnast who performed it is both a tribute to the gymnast and it's shorthand instead of trying to describe everything that happens so quickly.
Right. Here we have Mr. Jacob Foster, another taller gymnast. Look at that line.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful.
Tall gymnasts work well on Pommel horse.
That is correct. And look at this half Savato going into his traveling elements. First travel named after Zoltan Magyar. Nice Savato, as you mentioned. And then finishing off with that D dismount. That is a great routine by Greenville University. He is pumped. His coaches are pumped. I'm pumped with him. That was a great set. Good job on you, Jacob Foster.
Now what we're looking at is checking the width of the pommels. Now, while they don't go back and forth quite the same extent as the parallel bars, they are adjustable, and depending on the gymnast's comfort level, some gymnasts like them really wide, and some gymnasts prefer them, well, it's a personal preference. And sometimes they want them nice and narrow, feel like they've got a more stable base of support.
All right, here we have Mr. Will Hawk for the Fighting Illini. Another huge McCulloch. Good double scissors in the middle. Very nice flop work right there. That was beautifully done. As was that D Russian going down the end. Taking his time going back on the Savato, stepping up. Come on now. Beautiful finish from Mr. Will Hawk. What do you think of that routine, Jim?
I thought it was very clean, and one of the things I really like about Will is he gets really great extension when his weight is on his left hand. You don't want to see any pike or bend in the hips, or as little as is humanly possible, which is a tribute to Zhao Qin, the great Chinese gymnast. But Will really opens those hips when his weight is on his left hand. So I thought that was an excellent routine. I mean, these guys they're in mid-season form, even though it's only the third week of the year.
No kidding. I used to love watching Shaoxin's Pommel horse. That is undoubtedly the standard that these guys have to try to live up to, because that guy had the most insane spindle flares, the most insane flop work I'd ever seen. Totally perfectly extended. But yeah, and now here we have Mr. Henry Silva for Greenville. Sorry, Jim, go right ahead.
No. Go ahead.
All right, Mr. Henry Silva mounting with an A scissor. Good check there. Oh, some amazing flop work from Greenville happening right now. Look at this. Nice D rushing down the side. Looking very square. I can hear his teammates cheering for him nice and loud, fighting on this routine with him. Good Savato. Oh, getting these Russians around. Right it up. And that's how it's done. Coach is hyped. Both coaches hyped. That is amazing.
Little close to the horse on that third walk around, but lifted his hips up to a 30-degree angle, which may be a zero deduction for that execution-wise. And for those of you who aren't total gymnastic geeks, both Carlos and I were raving about Zhao Qin, the great Chinese gymnast. He was 2007 World Pommel Horse Champion and 2008 Olympic Champion. And I urge you, we don't have the technology to do it on this broadcast, but when we're done, go to YouTube. It's Xiaoqin, Zhao Qin. Go to YouTube and pull up his routines, and you will see what this event is supposed to look like in a perfect world.
And then here we have Mr. Brandon Deng, another very, very talented pommel horse worker. Mounting with a nice double scissor going down to the end. Going right into his flop sequence. We have one Russian, beautifully done. Look at that beautiful sewn. Beautiful bazugo. All right here, going into the sewn on one handle into his flops. Look at that. What do you think of that, Jim? You never see those, man. That is insane.
Well, as someone who did rings more than pommel horse, I'm glad I don't have, my wrist never had to try to do a sewn or a bazugo.
No kidding. And winding up for this dismount, that was a powerful set. It's a little flicker of the legs on that woo travel, but very nicely done. That was undoubtedly one of the most impressive routines I think we've seen today. What do you think?
I think that the lift to handstand for the dismount was by far the best one. It was truly swung. You saw no strength in it at all. It went right up like a rocket. And again, as a little bit of background, the sewn was named after Mark Sohn, who is one of, I think, only 3 gentlemen to win 4 NCAA titles on the same event. He was a Penn State pommel horse worker in the early 90s and actually finished 4th at the World Championships at the Specialist Worlds in Paris in 1992.
Wow, that is crazy impressive to be able to hold your own your entire undergraduate gymnastics career and, be national champion. That is tremendous. Well, here we have Mr. Matthew Roth on pommel horse, mounting with a huge scissor. Good Stockley B up.
No relation to the aforementioned Bill.
Correct. Another nice Stockley flop. Going right into his travels, looking nice and square. Very good Magyar. They're doing something right at Greenville with these travels. I like that they're not very skewed. Fighting for that dismount, I would give that credit. That was a very nicely done routine.
Little muscled, a couple of tenths, but overall, swung well. And again, they're doing good gymnastics under control. And I said at the end of floor, that's the key to having a quality event. Stay on the apparatus, minimize your errors.
Correct. That was a very nicely done routine. And now I think we have one more for the Fighting Illini. This is Mr. Tate Costa. I'm assuming he's doing an all-around program for the team, or for himself. So this routine will not be counting towards the team score. And here we go from the team captain. Solid A scissor and then breaking out of those flares. Love this skill. Oh, look at that. Flare over both handles. Check care flared over both handles. Probably sounds like I'm speaking a different language to my non-gymnastics viewers. I apologize.
Does this remind you of Sasha Artemov?
No kidding, man. No kidding. Spinning image. Winding up for that dismount. Going for it. And he gets the full credit for that dismount. That was a very impressive routine for the Fighting Illini.
That was a great set. And I think everybody loves flares, which are basically double-legged circles with your legs apart. And it's really interesting, Carlos, because internationally, that skill is known as a Thomas. It's after the late, great Kurt Thomas, the the first American to
I'm
truly
gonna wait
break
until the
through at the
judges go and see
highest
what they're having,
international
and let me
level.
know.
Kurt
We
was the
can
first world champion on floor in the 79 worlds, 78 worlds, and then was second in the all around at the 79 worlds. He was on the 76 Olympic team and was not allowed to compete in 80 due to the boycott from the first Afghanistan issue, uh, the political issue back then. But it's interesting to me that it's known as the Thomas around the world, and here in our own country, a guy who is credited with pioneering it, although he wasn't the very first guy to do it, Kurt Thomas. The flare is known as the flare, not the Thomas.
Right. It should be called the Thomas Flair. No, I agree. I agree with that statement. I wish in the code of points it would say, Thomas Circles or even Thomas Flair. Well, all right, let's take a look at this event summary. So, looks like the top score for Greenville University was Landon Bennis starting off the team with a 13-4. That was a massive, massive routine for Greenville, and they really needed that. Then over on the right, we have Fighting Illini, and all these scores popping up. Looks like a 14.45 for Mr. Brandon Dang with a massive 6.5 start value score. That is a start value that is competitive with literally the best guys in the world. That if he hits that routine with, a bit more execution, I mean, there's no reason why he couldn't be up there in the top 8. What do you think of that routine, man?
Well, I've already raved about it, and the point is, in terms of world rankings, we've got guys here in this country who can be that. I mean, currently, Brody Malone at Stanford was before his injury was world high bar champion in 2022, and I mentioned Mark Stone, who competed in the 90s for Penn State. They had a guy named Ivan Netarosik, who was a 2-time NCAA champion, actually got beat a couple of times by the Illinois gymnast. And Steven was world pommel horse champion a year and a half ago. So
that's correct.
You can do it in the United States. And the beauty of contemporary gymnastics is if you're good enough, you'll be able to have an opportunity to compete internationally for your country. In years past, I'm going back a generation or two now gymnastically, but there was a time when only all-arounds were able to compete internationally. So our best specialists have distinguished themselves on the world level, and Brendan may be able to at some point if that's the direction he cares to go.
That is correct. Well, I am very impressed with this Greenville rotation as well, putting up a nice 63. I think they only had one fall. And the Fighting Illini coming in with a 66.9. I think they just had that one little hiccup with Mr. Preston, but otherwise a very good showing by these men. Good fight from Bahe in the first routine. I'm excited to see this rings lineup coming up next. I think we have, let's see, on the rings rotation for Greenville, I see my friend Mr. Sergey Popov is going to be competing. And let's see. And then over for Illinois, I am very excited to see Mr. Ashton Anaya, national champion on rings. Very strong guy, crazy strength. Any routines in particular you're looking forward to watching today, Jim?
Anaya is an absolute beast. So yes, I think we really want to look at that. Now, when you look at that lineup, let me ask you, Carlos, explain to our viewers why Anaya wouldn't be the last guy up, because you tend to build your scores from stable to, say, the less talented, the guys who are expected to not get the highest scores tend to precede the, in this case, absolute beast. Why would he not be last in the rotation?
Correct. So I think in this particular situation, if you notice, Tate Costa is the anchor again for this rotation, and Tate was the anchor for Pommel Horse, and I think they're not using Tate's score for the team. So because he's doing his own all-around, just to compete as an all-around gymnast, his scores are going to be counted, so he's going to be going at the very end of the rotation. That way they can focus on getting the first 5 scores for the team. So I would say for the actual event, that contributes to the team, Ashton is going to stay as that anchor spot, but then of course we have Tate to go after him for his own all-around program, because I think, at Windy City, he just recently qualified to Winter Cup. So I think he's just getting another all-around competition under his belt before he does that in February.
I also should point out when we're preparing for this event, we both raved about Mr. Anaya, but his track record is he won the NCAAs last year. Isn't that correct?
That is correct. Yes, he was national champion, and he also won the Big Ten title on rings.
Well, they've got quite a tradition there. I don't know when's the last. I don't know that I know the answer to this. There might have been one in between. But didn't Illinois have a previous national and multiple Big Ten champion on rings?
Absolutely, Mr. Alex Diab, who is now representing Team USA and was a Olympic alternate for Team USA this past Olympic Games. And his mission was to, contribute for rings and to try to sneak his way into that final. That guy is also another athlete who is incredibly strong. They have a good rings tradition up at Illinois. So that's tremendous. They're still keeping that going.
Well, I know we're filling a little bit of time here during the one touch, but are you familiar with Mr. And for our viewers, if you don't know gymnastics closely and you can't picture Mr. Diab, indulge us. But Carlos, do you know his background or any bloodlines that he might have?
Oh, I know his dad was also a rings champion as well. I want to say that's what it was. I also know that Alex's brother Max also competed for Illinois, but I think that's as far back as I know. I just don't know his dad's name.
Max was a fine gymnast for Illinois, but I have to share this story. It's one of my favorite confidence stories. Alex's dad, Mark, was a two-time NCAA rings champ for Iowa State University back in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
He actually did an Olympic Maltese cross, which has only been done once by a Malaysian guy at a Worlds, even though it wasn't named after him. But anyway, his junior year, the Big Ten channel was televising the Big Ten meet. And Alex had already won NCAA rings before. And then after the competition, they're doing the little broadcast and the commentary. And John Roethlisberger, who was the color commentator at that time, asked Alex, said, "Well, your dad was an NCAA rings champ. Which one of you guys is the better ring guy? Who's better on rings?" And without missing a beat, Alex said, "I am, and I'm going to prove it by winning the NCAA championships in 2 weeks."
No way.
and if you can do it, it ain't bragging. And he followed up and won NCAAs. And then again, as you said, went on to represent the U.S. internationally.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's an awesome story, man. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, Alex Diab is an awesome guy, awesome gymnast, but also just one of the strongest human beings I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. I mean, this guy is a tank. And I mean, just great rings work, great strength. And I think he's even upgrading, to try to fight for that Olympic spot later this year. So, I mean, I'm excited to see him back in action after his little injury. But yeah, I mean, very, very awesome gymnast. Lots of good ring strength coming out of him and coming out of Illinois. Another name on this rings lineup that also has amazing strength is Mr. Logan Myers. Logan Myers is also a very strong athlete. And let's see. Oh, and I think we're going right into it. Mr. Landon Bennis on rings. Nice back of breast straddle planche going to an L hold. Some good double front work on the Yamawakis. So no support, really just went right through them. That's how they're supposed to be done. Good hold of the handstand. It's very important to note that on these rings routines, you have to hold all your strength parts for 2 seconds. Winding up for the dismount. Wow, that was a massive tuck double-double. Jim, thoughts on this routine?
I thought that was really very well done. And one of the things I want to take a little time on during the broadcast is to explain to the viewers how we talk about the rules and the code a little bit. And I'm going to make some comments about the code of points. And what our viewers should know is the rule book is actually made every 4 years, it's sort of recreated by a committee of 7 people who are voted on by the International Federation. And unfortunately, from my personal perspective as a coach and former gymnast, it's the coaches making the rules. It's judges who make the rules, not the coaches, which I think is unfortunate. And we will see on rings some problems that have developed compositionally, not about the athletes, but compositionally over the years, that have really detracted on how aesthetic and beautiful this event can be. But let's watch.
Yes, this is Mr. Ryan from Illinois. Massive back upright cross. That's an exciting skill to watch. Beautiful kip belt to support. Some beautiful double front work. That's going to be a very popular set of 2 skills that we're going to see, the tuck Yamawaki and the pike Jonathan.
So that
press handstand. Go on, Jim. Go on.
I'm going to say he's on the straps a little bit. You need to turn the rings out from the shoulders in order to really have the solid position in the handstand. That little elbow flex, you can wait a little longer at the bottom to go up.
A nice, easy half and half hat dismount, just a slight hop backwards. I think he's happy about that routine. Next, we have Mr. Logan Watterson from Greenville.
Many of these routines are going to look very similar because the International Federation has limited the kinds and numbers of skills that you can do. There was a time when you could do crosses not only facing forward but sideways. Those are no longer allowed, even though they aren't. It's not a problem. It doesn't hurt anybody. A front lever, which is a hanging position where you hold your body horizontal to the floor, is no longer valued. So you see a Yonasan Yamawaki, which is the double flips forward in pike and tuck position, is almost a compulsory element in what is an optional exercise.
Yes, sir. And then here we have Mr. Logan.
Yonasan Yamawaki.
There it is right there. Back right straddle L. Pushing up to that nice press handstand.
You'll note these handstands aren't super stable. And again,
another easy. Go on.
If a gymnast, if you put your hands in front of you with your palms down, and you try to turn them parallel, most people will do so from the elbow. They'll turn their forearms. You want to turn from the shoulder so that your entire arm rotates all at once. And that will really make your handstand very stable. Another thing to look for is there was a time, and I think aesthetically it's still the best way to do it, that the rings, when people dropped into their giant swings, they just pushed the rings straight forward so the arms stayed parallel. You'll see them come out to the side now, which has been a fashion for a number of years, but or accepted for a number of years, but I think is not the best possible way to do it. Looks like Donnie Osborne is lifting gymnasts to the rings. Assistant Coach Osborne.
Yes, sir. That is Coach Osborne lifting Mr. Logan Myers up onto the rings. Logan is a gymnast from 5280 in Colorado. Let's see what we got here. Good Yamawakis. Oh, look at that press handstand. Beautifully locked out. Rings turn.
That was a little more parallel than the previous ones we've seen. Solid
nice back-to-back giants.
Or front giant, we call it.
Slightly overcooked double-double, but very solid routine. I might have made a mistake earlier. I could have sworn that Mr. Logan had a Maltese in his routine. I guess I didn't see it today. So looks like he went with a simpler set. Solid kip bell, perfect press handstand. I mean, good giants, good Yamawakis. Huge dismount. What do we think, Jim?
That was a very solid, it was a conservative set, but very cleanly done. But Carlos, let me ask you a question that has always confused me. Why
yes,
do
sir.
we call if we're swinging, if your gymnast is facing forward and he swings forward, we call that a front uprise. But when you swing forward in the direction of a front uprise, it's a back giant. As opposed to when you're swinging backwards, we call it a back uprise, but a front giant.
That's actually a really good question. I'll get into that after this routine. Here we have Mr. Ethan Poole, the nice cross from Greenville University. Solid kippel, very popular element now that it's included as a swing to strength element in the code of points. One of the requirements that the gymnasts need to fill.
This gymnast is turning out from the shoulders, and he has an almost parallel bail going forward. So it's really quality technique.
Absolutely. Beautiful double fronts as well.
We're gonna
go on, Joe. I'm sorry.
We're going to have to practice this more. They're going to have to give us another couple of meets to work this out. But I really like the way his rings are turned out in both the L and in the or half lever, as they refer to it in Great Britain, and the handstand. Unfortunate dismount. I presume that maybe the gymnast has got some kind of knee or ankle, leg or ankle injury, and just wanted to do a set and get off without really damaging. We don't know, but it certainly didn't have a break in the routine leading up to that. So,
yeah, I don't know what happened with that dismount there. It looks like he just did a back layout. Unfortunately, it's not going to fulfill the element group at all, but maybe they just needed a routine to, just keep the momentum going. At least it was a hit. Now we're moving into Illinois with Mr. Sebastian. But back to your question earlier, Jim, I actually don't know why, whenever they're going forward, we call it a back giant. Whenever they go backwards, we call it a front giant. That's something how you were saying, that it's not up to the coaches or the gymnasts to, name the skills. It's up to the judges. So maybe that should be changed. And a nice back uprise cross.
Following a beautiful Maltese.
Absolutely, yeah. I missed the commentary on the Maltese. I was busy answering that question. Nice, good double fronts.
See how the rings are turned in? You should turn from the shoulders.
There's that front giant, bit of a fight. Winding up. Solid double dismount.
It is really difficult for a real tall guy. I mean, that was an amazing routine, because a tall gymnast is a real mechanical disadvantage on this event. Being tall and lean on pommels is an advantage. On this event, it's absolutely the opposite. And that was a good Maltese, a good cross, and with that long body line, to be able to pull a double-double at the end of a routine is really, really exceptional. I'm very impressed.
Couldn't agree more, man. That was a tall gymnast doing an amazing ring set. That's something I definitely love to see. And this next guy coming up, Mr. Sergey Popov, this is the guy I'm most excited to watch today. Former
Your
teammate,
homeboy.
My homeboy, undoubtedly.
Folks, there's not any real bias here.
Yeah. Let's see what Sergey's going to put up for us today on rings. Mounting with a very nice kip Maltese. Let's go now. Beautifully done. Oh, my goodness. That's actually the best I've ever seen him do it. Come on, son. Good kip L. Nice tuck and pike on Milwaukee. Taking his time. Show it off now. See a nice, good press handstand right here. So then we haven't seen too often today is the bent arm, straight body press handstand. Nice solid back giant. Winding up for the dismount. Put it down now. Come on, kid. Beautifully done routine by Sergey Popov. Show the judges he's hyped. I'm hyped. Let's go, bro. Come on now. Come on.
It was fair. Just messing with you, Carlos.
Absolutely.
It was fair. It was adequate. Next.
Absolutely, man. I'm so proud of that guy. I'll never forget. We were in the gym together. I was spotting him on Maltesers. He was trying to hold, my weight up on Maltese. There's no way I was getting that skill, but I knew for sure this guy was definitely, he was built for that skill, man. That guy is so strong. Hopefully in the future he puts up a nice double-double in the end and hopefully, becomes an All-American. I mean, that's the guy who wants it. All right, next up we have Mr. Ethan Boder of Illinois. Huge back upright straight planche. Wow. Lowered right into a Maltese. Jim, what do you think of those two strength moves?
The planche was great. The Maltese is a good position, but a little short. And here's our ubiquitous Yamawaki Yonason. Nice turnout on the L. See how solid that is?
A very solid press handstand as well. Good front giant. Just a slight bobble there. Holding it together, holding his own very well. Oh, come on now. You're almost done, Ethan. Put it down. His teammate yells, put it down. And a solid finish.
Yeah, that was nicely done, although he got a couple of little deductions, minor deductions, locking out both the front and the back giants. If I were asked, and the coaches aren't on the phone with me all the time, I would say that you need to wait a little longer at the bottom and let your body turn over to let the drop part of the swing transition into an upward direction, and then you don't have to pull quite so hard. You're going just a little bit early. But
here we have Mr. Jacob Foster. Look at how tall that guy is, man. I'm excited to see him as the anchor for rings. Let's see what we got.
Greenville certainly loves kip to L's. Pardon me, I'm talking over you again. Take it away.
No worries, Jim. Yeah, I mean, kip to L is a very smart, safe swing to strength move. I guess it's better for those athletes who don't yet have that cross or Maltese or even straight planche position. Well, wow, look at these lines. I would say, when you're a tall gymnast and you're doing skills like a giant on rings, I mean, it's just so impressive. Let's see this finish. Look at that. Nice, easy half and half out. Beautiful stick. He's loving it. Let's go.
Here's an example. There's an example of a gymnast who, because of his line, we both know in the composition of that routine, he's not super strong on rings. But the giants in both directions really were very technically well done because he dropped cleanly, arms close to parallel, and then waited all the way through the bottom until his hips were almost, his feet came past the rings and his hips were higher than his head. And then when you pull, it's more like a free hip on high bar than it is a giant swing.
Interesting. All right. The man of the hour, we have Mr. Ashton Anaya, NCAA champion, Big Ten champion on the still rings. Look at that, gripping up to do some big gymnastics. Let's see what we got. Oh my God, I think that was the most perfect Azarian Maltese I've ever seen in my life. Look at that. Beautiful back upright straight planche.
Incidentally, during the break, I got an Azarian story.
See, two Yamawakis. Oh my goodness, right into a back upright Maltese. Into the Nakayama cross. Wow. And pulls out of the cross. Unbelievable. Wow. Doing a front giant out of an L. This guy is, let's see. All right. So on that dismount, okay, very solid routine. On that dismount, man, if I were the one evaluating, unfortunately, I would give him a tucked half and half out just because that was a bit of a bigger bend than you want when preparing for the landing. Jim, what do you think?
I think he's going to win rings at this event.
Oh, undoubtedly.
No, that was an extraordinary routine. And cross pullouts are always hard. And to do it from an L position at the end of the routine is pretty amazing. And just beautiful lines all the way through. he's national champion for a reason. The reason is he's the best guy in the country.
Yeah.
Strong,
Best
great
guy.
technique.
Yes, sir. All right, next up we have Mr. Tate Costa, contributing to his all-around program in preparation for Winter Cup. Mounting with a slow in locate, hip L.
Whoa, that was a high Yamawaki, or Jonas.
That was a tremendous Yamawaki. Oh my goodness. Taking his time in that back right straddle L, catching his breath. Nicely done back giant. Into the front double pike, slight hop forward. That's a hard dismount to land, man. Good on him.
That is a very hard dismount to land, especially when you've got 10 elements preceding it. Very nicely done.
Well, Jim, I have to tell you, that was a very exciting rings rotation. Looking at the scores right now, Greenville with some solid hits. Mr. Sergey Popov, my homeboy, breaking in with a 13-1, tying Mr. Landon Bennis. Look at all those stuck landings from Greenville. That is very, very, very impressive. And then over to the right, we have Mr. Ashton Anaya, undoubtedly the winner of the day on still rings with a 14.45. Start value is just a hair low because I think they gave him a tucked half and half out, but nonetheless, rings champion for today. Tim, what do we think? Or Jim, what are we thinking of these routines? What do you think of these guys?
I think they're doing great. And again, when you're talking about Ashton, look at that. He's a full point higher than anybody else in the event. But I have to smile because I love your enthusiasm for Sergey Popov, who you had a relation with in your club situation. And one of the things I regret is that our history as a sport seems to be written on sand. People really don't know a lot about the backgrounds of where we all came from and how it all fits together. Your coach at Cyprus, Tom Meadows, was a gymnast of Mark Williams, who was a gymnast at the university, who's now the longtime coach at the University of Oklahoma. Hugely successful, maybe the most successful college coach of modern times. And Mark was a gymnast at the University of Nebraska, multiple NCAA champion, coached by Francis Allen, arguably the most accomplished coach of his era. And we have bloodlines. And when I look at Illinois, I have to smile. You've got your Popoff, but I've got a little bit of a soft spot for the University of Illinois. And this doesn't directly relate to me personally, but
right.
Back before and just after World War II, Illinois was coached by a guy named Hartley Price, legend, Hall of Fame coach. And one of his athletes, who was not a great gymnast, was a guy named Eric Hughes. And Eric Hughes graduated from Illinois in 1947, and he got out to Seattle after a couple of years of working at some small colleges, and he started the University of Washington program in 1950. And Washington still exists today as a pretty good college program. And they've had All-Americans and national champions, and guys go to the Worlds. And Eric had a guy named Yoshi Hayasaki, who was NCAA.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jim. I'm going to have to cut you off right there. We went right into the vault rotation with Connor McCool darting a 2.5. That was insane. Oh, my goodness.
That was a quick one touch. Oh, my goodness gracious. Anyway, to just follow this long discussion, or I should say monologue, Eric Hughes had a guy named Yoshi Hayasaki, who was a two-time NCAA all-around champion. And Yoshi went back to Champaign after he graduated from the University of Washington, and he was head men's coach at Illinois for 33 years. So it's interconnected. I was Eric's assistant for a short period of time. But our sport has a rich history And we are so interconnected in so many ways.
That's amazing. All right.
And that was
Next up, we have Mr.
I'm just going to
Oh,
say.
sorry, Jim. Let me go real quick. Next up, we have Mr. Landon Bennis.
And McCool had one heck of a vault. So over to you, Carlos.
Yes, sir. Here we have Mr. Landon coming in with a cause full. Oh, so close to that stuck landing. But yes, Mr. Connor McCool with only 7/10 off and a stuck landing. That's how you do it. I think that's one of his highest vault scores yet.
I'm going to quote him. I'm gritting my teeth. But the whole essence of vault, as Jim Daggett says, is go real high and stick the landing.
All right, next up we have Mr. Evan Manavong. Known this kid for a while. Very strong athlete. Good vaulter, good floor worker. Let's see what we got today. Winding up, good hit. Oh, so close to darting that vault. Very solid, Mr. Manavong. That was really good.
One of the keys, and I don't know if we'll actually see it here, to sticking, and on vault it's extremely hard because you've got so much momentum. But if you actually land in a position where in theory there should be no steps, it's important as your body compacts to absorb the force of impact that you stay down. If we see somebody pop up too early and take a step, I'll point it out. But one of the keys is not only finishing the skill early enough that you can actually find the ground, but to stay down and make sure you're under complete control before you try to step up to salute.
That is correct. And up next, we have Mr. Bo Bice for the University of Greenville, or Greenville University, pardon me. Oh, massive 2.5. Great to see this program putting up some big vaults. Look at that. Team is hyped.
And that hop was unavoidable because there was so much power in that vault. So that's the kind of mistake that we call a good mistake for the right reason.
Good mistake indeed. And then next up, we have Mr. Michael Fletcher for the University of Illinois, pardon me. They're asking the judges to wait, I think. Going to check the mat situation. So they're pulling it back, making sure everything's in line. Looks like they're vaulting onto a pit.
You know what,
All right,
Carlos?
Go on, sir. Yes, sir.
I think that's an excellent observation. Those are what, orange foam there we see in the corner there?
That's correct. All right, here we have Mr. Michael Fletcher. Oh, another solid 2.5 from the University of Illinois. 3.52 vaults in a row. These guys are bringing it today.
This is really some exceptional vaulting, and you pointing out as we see the whole mat system flex, the reason it's really difficult to stick in this particular environment is you don't have mats on top of a floor. You've got mats on top of anywhere from 4 to 6 or 7 feet of foam. So
that is correct. Oh, and here we have Mr. Jackson Clapper. Oh, a solid first stick for Greenville. Look at that. Yeah, these boys are having a time today playing at home.
Well, I'm going to take credit for that one because as soon as you make a comment like it's almost impossible to stick, Mr. Clapper sticks it to me by sticking. So good for him.
Proving you wrong.
Not the first time. Hey, are you having fun today, Carlos?
I'm having a tremendous time, man. This is great. How are you doing?
I'm having a blast. This is awesome. We got to do this again.
I would love to do this again, Jim. This has been a pleasure. All right, next up we have Mr. Amari Sewell for the Fighting Illini. I'm expecting a beautiful vault out of this gentleman. Let's see what we got. Oh, and that is just unfortunate, just unlucky. Looks like he undercooked it in the air, was going for that stick. I feel guilty for jinxing on that one, Jim. I think we're bad looking away.
Well, I think we've sort of balanced ourselves out. We just had a stick and now we had a fall. So, what else can we comment on?
It's a good
Well,
question. Well,
they're, they're
go on,
adjusting the
sir.
horse. They're adjusting the horse. The collar to the board seems.
Let's go, Mike!
Well, what are you going to do? Stop pushing the horse. There's nothing you can do with it. They're heavy. Guy gets up, pushes.
That's right. Looks like they were checking that collar for this round-off back handspring entry vault called a Yurchenko. And here we have Mr. Michael Avery for Greenville University. Going down the vault runway. On a back handspring. Double full darted. Unbelievable. Let's go, boys.
That's what? 2 out of the last 3? Or was that 2 in a row?
Real, yes.
Flapper and
2 in a row right there.
There you go. Well, home court advantage. This is the Greenville Panther gym after all. So they know how to stick in a pit. Hey,
yeah, I was about to say. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, I was curious. This is off the top of my head. But the Yurchenko vault, the round-off entry, even though she wasn't the very first person to do it, Natalia Yurchenko is the person credited with the round-off entry vault. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is that the only skill in men's gymnastics that's named after a female gymnast?
That is an excellent question. I'm going to stop you right there because right now we have Mr. Garrett Schooley with a triple full. Unbelievable. A massive 5'6" vault. He is a freshman from Florida. Very talented athlete. He's going to do big things for the University of Illinois in the next couple of years. Even right now, putting up the highest difficulty vault of the day with a 5'6".
Well, that was jaw-dropping. And one of the things I think we need to try to get our producer to work on for our next broadcast is replay. I want to see stuff like that again. That was amazing.
All right, and then next up we have Mr. Logan Watterson. This guy had an amazing freshman debut last week against Michigan. He stuck his 2.5 and won the vault rotation. Let's see if he can do it again. Oh, just a hair forward, slightly overcooked, but a massive vault nonetheless. Look at that. That's the celebration we want. Let's go, son. That was really good, Logan. All right, and then last but not least, again, contributing to his all-around program, we have Mr. Tate Costa.
Yeah. Oh, no, I wouldn't touch it.
All right, here we go. Oh, a nice solid double full. Jim, would you give that a stick?
I would give that a stick. I think if your feet don't move, it's a stick. And that looked pretty sticky to me. I really,
pretty sticky as well.
For Illinois to come in here and to be able to try to land vaults on a surface like that is really pretty impressive. I assume they do it, in a training gym, but in a competition situation to be able to work that in is really, I thought, really very impressive. And what's even more impressive to me, these Greenville guys, for a second-year program, to be hanging in there with Illinois, to be less than 10 points behind after 4 rotations, really amazing. I'm going to assume, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to assume that this isn't the lineup that Illinois will bring to the NCAAs. Like you say, Mr. Tate's not accounting score today, but even so, to be this far into the meet and to be within, the margin is so much less than I thought it was going to be. If Illinois if they were to have a problem and count a 0 or a short routine on the high bar or something, this could be a meet. This could be competitive. We are not in a situation where Illinois is this isn't equivalent to a 49-3 football game. This is more like 27-20.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that. The Greenville Panthers are putting up an amazing fight today. I mean, look at these vault scores. I mean, you have 4 guys on this lineup breaking a 14, which is tremendous for this program. You have at least 2 5-2 vaults, some solid 4-8 start values. I mean, this is a really good special lineup that these guys have planned over at Greenville. And looking at the sticks over here, it actually, looking at Greenville, they came away with the most sticks of the day. I think they didn't award Tate that stick at the end. That's why I asked, because it looked like there was a slight little bobble. Might have been the ricochet from the landing, but looks like we have Mr. Evan Manavong. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Garrett Schooley with that massive triple full vault as the winner of today's vault rotation. Just very, very impressive. Look at that. Just only a 5/10 gap on vault between Greenville and Illinois. The Panthers should be very proud of that.
Yeah, and if you look at Illinois going forward, you're talking about getting on the podium. You mentioned at the outset of the broadcast, for Mr. Schooley, a freshman, to be beating or scoring higher, at least in this one meet, than Mr. McCool is a real testament to Daniel Ribeiro's ability to recruit. He's got quite an eye. And on the other side, while we're waiting for parallel bars to start, I really want to give props to Zach Peters and what he's doing with the Greenville program. It took me a while. I don't mean to compare apple to apples, but as a coach, you don't get it all figured out the first couple of years, or in some cases ever, or in my case, a whole lot of years. Not that I ever did get it all figured out. But Zach Peters he came from a blue blood program, no question about it. But how the heck does a guy who's still in his 20s, who is only in his second year, be able to put a lineup together that's they're doing good gymnastics, they're doing it technically well, they're doing skills that they've got under control, and they're hanging with one of the heavy hitters in men's gymnastics. So, plus, the very fact that he's been able to do all those things means he's a heck of a recruiter, because Greenville, Greenville, with all respect to the school, it's not Stanford, Penn State, or, Michigan. He's doing an amazing job. I'm really, really impressed with these guys.
No kidding. The future of that program is very bright. Him and Jake Bonnet are doing something very special down in Greenville, and I hope to see that program continue to thrive. And I'm really pulling for that team to break it in to break into the scene for NCAA finals. I mean, I think if they keep going the way they're going, there's no reason why they can't be in the conversation. Coming in ranked at 9th, I hope they really get into that top 6.
Yeah, well, I don't know that it'll happen this year, but I'll tell you what, there is a program out there. Somebody at some point is going to not send their first team up against these guys. I don't know if it's going to happen this year or next year or whenever, but one of these Big Ten programs, or the Mountain West, the Pacific, whatever they call it, Stanford, Oklahoma, whoever. But one of
the MPSF, yes, sir.
PSF, whatever. One of these programs is going to not send their first string against these guys, and Greenville is going to beat an Ohio State, a Michigan, a Penn State, a somebody. And I wouldn't want to be the coach of whoever that is when the athletic director asks me to come into his office the next day. These guys are for real, and you better take them seriously, or you're going to have a very unpleasant conversation with your boss, because Greenville is not Michigan or Penn State or Stanford or Oklahoma, but they're punching above their weight.
That's very true. That's very true. They are punching above their weight, and they're giving these guys a run for their money.
Well, I don't know if you follow soccer, but when Saudi Arabia beat Argentina at the World Cup, the earth shifted on its axis a little bit. And these Greenville guys are for real.
No kidding. No kidding. All right. Looks like we are getting started with this 5th rotation.
I hope that's
looks
a
like
one
we
touch.
have a quick one touch. Yeah, I was about to say, looks like we're in the one touch right now, waiting for these guys to warm up. From Greenville, we have Mr. Bennis. My boy Sergey is going to be second up, along with Mr. Davini, Kobe Cantu, and Jackson Clapper. And then for the Illinois, we have Mr. Ryan, Logan Myers, Vahe Petrosian, Tate Costa, and Michael Fletcher contributing to these lineups right now. Excited to see some good peach work, some good long swings.
Man. Again, I'm looking at the technique, and it is exemplary. Where's the deductions on what we've just seen? Beautiful Diamondov, beautiful studs, beautiful Healy, massive double front. This is going to be exciting. And a straight handstand. Look at that line on that, Carlos. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man.
Diamondov.
That's Mr. Kobe. He's got some good gymnastics, some very clean stuff. Also exciting to watch on high bar. I had the pleasure of coaching him at a Region 3 camp that we actually hosted at Texas A&M, and this guy was crazy enough. I know what he's capable of. Okay, he was crazy enough to send a triple backflip onto the mat at Texas A&M. It blew my mind. That kid is full of talent. All right, looks like Greenville coach Jake Bonnet is getting ready to set the board for his first athlete. Looks like the judge is ready to get this going. Landon Bennis up first. Nice undersumming a handstand. Right into a drop cast, a back up rise handstand. Very intricate.
Ooh, that was a nice Healy. You see the way he stretched out at the shoulder?
Yes, sir. He had a great push away on that Healy. I think he just put it a bit back. That's why he had a little bit of trouble on that handstand afterwards. Nice Bill Zerchev on the side. Stutz one rail. Oh, losing it a bit. Come on now, son. Pushing tall. And right here, doing that peach to L is very smart. Gives the gymnast an opportunity to breathe right before the dismount. Whoa, that was a ginormous double back tuck. Can definitely see him adding a full twist to that or even piking it in the future. What do we think of that set?
Well, I think the pike is a little bit of a break, but again, the technique that these guys use here is just so excellent. And I talked about the push away on the Healy, the extension of the shoulder, exactly the same thing that set up that double back. He just didn't lean back. He kept pressure on the bar until his knees were up and over his head. And then all you got to do is just grab his shins and hold on and then look for the floor. That was beautiful.
Yes, sir. That was a very well done routine. Just had a little bit of errors on that first handstand following the Healy, and the Diamondov had a little bit of a flicker. All right, over here we have Mr. Ryan for the Fighting Illini. And with a front up rise handstand. Pushing away on a good Healy twirl, just a slight pike on the catch. Nothing to worry about here. Oh, nice straight arms in that peach. A bit of a travel in that giant, not too bad. Massive front up rise to front 1 1/4. What do you think of that one, Jim?
I think he's got to get his hands on the bar just a little earlier. That's going to be tough on the shoulder girdle if that's a habit. But a big time skill. Short on the studs.
Yeah, and taking his time. Not a deduction to hold your L hold for longer than 2 seconds, nor your handstand before your dismount. Whoa. Pull that elbow pike around. Yes, sir. Yeah. He is happy.
Made the stick, but if that guy's going to stay healthy all season, he better start bending his knees on the impact of the landing. That could be a real problem.
Correct. All right. And up next, we have Mr. Sergey Popov for Greenville University from Cypress Academy. Once again, former teammate. Very often, guys.
Cypress, Texas.
Yes,
Northeast
sir.
corner of Houston.
Yes, sir. That's right. They're from Cypress, Texas. Oh, looks like he's already getting called out. Probably chalking up. I know he likes to take his time. It's all right, bud. You have 30 seconds until this guy yells at you. Come on now. All right, breathe a bit, breathe a bit. It's go time, buddy. Let's see what we got. You've got the massive gymnastics. I want to say he's opting for the cleaner routine today, but let's see if he proves me wrong. Beautiful drop cast, back upright handstand.
It's a very rare skill in modern gymnastics.
Beautiful Healy twirl. Love his line going into these pelt style elements. That was a more to support. Unlucky on the Tapelt. I hope he gets away with it. Let's see what we got next. Nice tall stutz. And tuck and pray. Good man. Good finish.
Good knee bend to absorb there. But, you know, Carlos, that was really interesting. The mount, a back upright handstand, is very rare in modern gymnastics. It used to be done 40, 50, 60 years ago, but you don't see it very often. So that was really, I love seeing, you know, unusual things. So much of contemporary gymnastics, the way the rules are structured, people always go towards the easiest, hardest skill, as odd as that may sound, but the hardest skills are the quickest you can acquire. And so most of the routines on most of the events appear very similar. So when you see a skill like that, it's really interesting. And the other thing I thought was really interesting in terms of the composition is to do the moy from the center of the route, from the center of the bars to the end. You almost never see that. So here's Illinois. And a back uprise.
Another back uprise handstand. Yes, sir. This is Mr. Logan Myers from the University of Illinois. Beautiful technique. Nice Tapel. Oh, looks like we have a bit of a lag. I think that was the world's fastest Healy twirl. Nice speech to support. Slowly taking his time, getting ready for this dismount. It's like we have a big double front. All right, good fight from Mr. Logan Myers.
Hey, Carlos, I need you to school me on this. School, not scold, or maybe both, on whatever the contemporary rules or routine composition is. I just said how unusual a back uprise handstand is and how odd it is to see a moy from the middle to the end. And here's a second routine in a row where both of those things happen. What am I missing?
So
it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
But it's like, what?
Now it's all over the place. Yeah, so that back uprise handstand is becoming more and more popular, mainly because some gymnasts maybe acquire more reductions doing the back uprise front flip, or they haven't done the straddle cut catch. I'm going to cut myself off real quick and look at that. Another back uprise handstand from Mr. Donovan Davini. Tall Diamondov. He's another kid from Woga, so they have some very good support skills from Coach Sergey Pekanich, who's now over at Evo Gymnastics in Sarasota, Florida. Huge double front and front uprise to go with it. Very clean routine. But yeah, Jim, as I was saying earlier, so I think a lot of these athletes are opting for the back uprise handstand mount, or at least the upper arm skill in general, just to make sure that they fulfill the requirement without having to do something as simple as a front uprise, or if they don't yet have a back uprise front flip, so the Hamna from upper arm. That's what I'm assuming the strategy is. I know that me personally, I competed a drop cast to back uprise handstand because I just wasn't strong enough for the back uprise front flip, but I want to say that's the thought process here for why these routines are structured the way they are.
Okay, fair enough. Good information. I never thought of a back uprise to handstand as an easier skill than a front uprise to support wing handstand, but clearly it's working for coaches and gymnasts who are using it.
Right. Well, I would say with the other code changes that have been implemented over the years, they're getting very critical on the front uprise in general. Now they want it totally, extended, or if you're going to pike your front uprise and go to a man-in position, your hips have to be pretty much at level with your shoulders. And another requirement is at least hips at elbow height. So maybe that's why some of these athletes are opting for that back uprise handstand. But up next we have Mr. Vahe Petrosian freshman for the Fighting Illini. He has some beautiful, beautiful parallel bar work. And there's that back up rise front flip skill I was talking about. Beach to handstand, slight bend of the arms, nothing to worry about. Oh, come on, fight it in now. Good, mock goods to support. Beautiful Healy to follow it. Let's see what we got next. Nice stutz over. Beautifully executed front uprise. Tall Diamondov. This guy loves his support elements. Taking his time on that peach press. Jim, did you want to chime in? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. Oh, no, 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 no. Unlucky. Oh my goodness. I don't think I've ever seen a gymnast fall onto the judge's table on their dismount. That was a bit unfortunate. That was a good routine up until then. Looks like they're having a laugh about it. Jim, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, you're not cutting me off at all. We're just sharing thoughts here, so no need to say anything. And I've seen gymnasts hit judges' tables before, but not very often at the college level. That was really unfortunate. The two things I would really make a comment on, that mount was extraordinary. That back upright front salto swing hand, that back upright front salto swing handstand, the front salto literally floated, and the regrasp to the, and then the swing to the handstand appeared effortless. And that skill is almost impossible to do that way. You really have to explode and pike hard and then quickly regrasp. And Petrosian just made it effortless.
That he did. Up next, we have Mr. Kobe Cantu for the Greenville Panthers, mounting with a nice kip to press handstand.
Look at that straight line.
Beautifully done. Let's look at this peach hand. Very nice. Very good giant. Just a slight little hand adjustment. Good moist support. Nice super tall stutz handstand, very nice. Good front uprise to follow it. Put it down, Kobe. Come on now. Oh, massive double pike dismount.
Really nicely done. The only thing I would say technically that I'd like to maybe see him do a little bit differently, I don't know they necessarily got any deduction on his stutz or his Yamadov, but keep your head in. Like bury your ear or your head next to your support arm. It'll just make it a little smoother. But overall, nice routine. And again, these guys are we haven't pointed out toe point yet, but there are very few, if any.
All right, next up we have Mr. Tate Costa. Wow, an amazing one bar mount right there. Nice easy peach to support. Going for the press handstand. Let's see what we have next. Wow, beautifully done Makuch. Just a slight bend of the elbows on the way up. Massive Healy twirl as well to follow it. Oh, slightly overcooked, but good fight on that stutz. Wow, beautiful front uprise. And darted double pike dismount. That was insane, insanely done. What'd you think of that routine, Jim? Jim, do you copy? All right, well, that was an amazing routine. Next up, we have Mr. Jackson Clapper. Nice front upright swing handstand. Whoa, that was a massive Healy twirl from Mr. Jackson. Strong peach hand, good fight. Beautiful kick out on that back giant. Good Diamondov, good adjustment. Slight bend in the elbows on the stut. Taking his time right here. That's how you catch a peach. Good man. Breathing right before the dismount. Put it up now. Good finish for Greenville on parallel bars. All right, well, this has been a solid rotation so far. Tate Costa's score came in with a 13.65. Looks like he had around a point in deductions, which is tremendous for a parallel bar set. You want to keep it at, as minimal as possible with your deductions, especially, as you have guys falling before you, you want to keep it going. Jackson Clapper scored with a 13.3, another massive contribution to Greenville. Up next, we have Mr. Michael Fletcher for the Fighting Illini. This should be a tremendous parallel bar set. Beautiful drop cast to back upright front flip. Nice extension on that Healy. Just caught it a hair low. Worked out of it very well. Good peach to handstand, just a slight little shuffle with the legs. Amazing giant Diamondov. Just snuck that right in there, very nice. Taking his time, once again, breathing on that peach to press handstand combination. And finishing off with a solid double pike, just a couple hops backwards. Very nicely done. All right, and we are now transitioning to the final event. Waiting on Mr. Mike Fletcher's score. Greenville putting up a nice 326 points. I think they might just be shy of that 400 range, but they are putting on a tremendous performance today. Very impressed. Unlucky for Mr. Sergey Popov on that to pelt. Get him next time, buddy. Otherwise, not too bad. Some very strong performances from the Panthers. And then here we have the Fighting Illini putting up some good scores as well. Solid 13-1, 12.95 for Mr. Logan Myers. I think I remember him having a bit of a bobble as well. Poor Vahe falling on the judges. Unlucky, my friend. We'll get him next time. Mr. Tate Costa with a beautiful 13.65 routine, holding it down. That's why he's the captain, holding it down for Illinois. And then Mr. Michael Fletcher with a strong 13.5 performance. Nice, clean 5.0 start value. I think if he just really darts that discipline at the end, he can definitely break into the 14s. That was a very beautifully done set. Very excited for this high bar lineup coming in. Hopefully Jim comes back and joins me for this section because this is going to be a very exciting rotation. And it looks like the Fighting Illini come in with a 336. So fortunately, just a slight, 10-point gap. That's about a full routine apart in the standings, but again, a very strong showing for Greenville today. I mean, they're going to continue to build. They have a couple more meets coming up this season before they make their campaign at ECAC's, their conference, and try to contribute a team score that gets them into the final for the NCAAs. All right, but taking a look at this high bar rotation, the Greenville Panthers are going to be putting up Mr. Kobe Cantu, Mac Pollock, Logan Watterson, Jacob Foster, and Mr. Donovan Deviney to anchor for the Panthers today. And then for the Fighting Illini, we have Mr. Vahe Petrosian, Sebastian Ingersoll, Logan Myers, Ryan V, and then Mr. Tate Costa to anchor for the Fighting Illini today. All right, and then just to kind of recap again once more on the parallel bar scores, it looks like we came away with 2 stuck dismounts from Mr. Landon Bennis in the beginning on that massive double back tuck. Definitely needs to add an upgrade to that. I mean, there's no reason why he could sneak in a full twist or at least pike that dismount. His coaches are probably going for just like a strong, clean set, good, clean finish, not to worry about the dismount at all. Nonetheless, very strong performance. And Mr. Tate Costa with his duck dismount as well. That's why he was able to keep his deductions at around a point. All right, and now we are transitioning onto high bar. And there's the announcer telling them that their 2-minute warm-up period has ended. Now we have Mr. Vahe Petrosian going up first. All right, ready to go from the freshman. Rounding up with a huge stem to a beautifully done Yamawaki, going in with an endo kip. It's a handstand, beautifully done Vahe. Oh, a little crazy on that tuck full. Wanted to put it up to handstand, just got a little bit off. Nonetheless, son, come on now, good finish. Let's see, going for another Takamoto skill. Nice jam half, that's how it's done, good man. Nice flying giant to fulfill that long hang element. Good Stalder. Let's see, winding up for the dismount. Beautifully done, lay half. Just a bit unlucky on that talk full. That's a big skill to be doing as a freshman, so props to him for going for it. If there's a time in the season to go for it, it's definitely at this competition. Love that in the background, hearing the GU chants. Getting these guys fired up for one last rotation. 5 more routines. Next up, we have Mr. Kobe Cantu, sophomore for Greenville University. Expecting a very clean high bar set from this guy. Minimal angle deductions, clean releases. Starting with that one, beautifully done to handstand, nice pirouette. Gearing up for his release. Nice and easy, son, put it back on. Very nicely done with a good giant out. That's how you do it. Very well done. Inside Stalder to normal Stalder, pardon me. Winding up for the dismount. Boy. Oh, unlucky, just a slight step back. Very clean routine done. All right, and then next up for the fighting Illini, we have Mr. Sebastian, one of the taller athletes in today's lineup. Looks like the coach over here, Mr. Coach Don, is going to be pulling these mats so he can clear it, not touch anything. Yep, missed it by just a hair. There we go, just right. Waiting for the judges to evaluate Mr. Kobe Cantu. And Mr. Sebastian ready to go. Kobe with a nice 12.3, keeping his deductions about 1.5. That's where you want to stay on high bar. The 1.5 range is actually considered very good, so having an 8.5 execution. All right, and here we have Mr. Sebastian. A beautifully done Yamawaki. Gearing up for his release. Nice Chinese tap into his layout Tkachev. Connected to a straddle Tkachev. That is massive for a tall man. Look at this, Pike Tkachev. That's a great flow he's got going. Good free hip to fulfill the requirement for in bar. Good one-arm giant. Look at that, doing a Zuli Min very late in the routine. Take some guts. Winding up for the dismount. Come on now. Good finish. Laid out double-double. Oh, slightly undercooked. Otherwise, very well done. Amazing connections on those releases. Connecting a layout Tkachev to a straddle Tkachev gets him an extra 10th bonus. But 4 releases done very well. I loved that Zuli Min, who pushed very tall. Had great turn throughout the bottom. That's how you're supposed to do it. You don't complete the full turn on the way down, you get hit with lots of deductions. That was done very well. And very smart. Some guys aren't very strong on the in-bar skills, and doing a clear hip to fulfill that requirement is a very good strategy. That way you don't get any angle deductions. You get your 5/10ths, and you can move on to some of the big boy skills. And next up, we have Mr. Mac Pollock for Greenville University. I can hear my old teammate Sergey telling him to get the bar. Get the bar now, Mac. Nice and note a handstand. See Takamoto's skill, slightly off. Good Tkachev. Very nicely done back on the bar. You listen to my teammate. Good man. Nice Stalder. Beautifully done Pike Stalder. I think he might have clipped his toes just a hair. Doesn't bother him. Huge dismount. That's how you finish the routine. Might be a bit closer than he would have liked. He's soaking it all in. Coaches are happy. That's how you finish. Good man. And Sebastian's score just came in with a 13.3, 14.7 start value. Only 1.4 in deductions. Again, that's exactly where you want to stay. So that is a great score for Sebastian. Definitely breaking into that 13.5 range if he sticks that dismount. Hopefully in the future he adds some in-bar elements to try to break through in that All-American status. And next up on high bar we have Mr. Logan Myers. Good mount in the front giants, winding up for this first in-bar element. Wow, that's how it's supposed to be done. A nice talk pull to mix grip, pardon me. Nice talk half. Also put up in a good area. Let's see, winding up for this first release. Massive layout to Tkachev, no question about it. Massive straddle as well. Connected to a pike to Tkachev. Just got a hair hung up, but worked out of it very well. Nice quas, kind of just overcooked it a bit. Beautiful flying giant. Showed full clearance of that bar for sure. Winding up for the dismount. Nice laid out. Half and half out. Stuck landing for the Fighting Illini. That's why they're one of the best in the Big Ten. For finishes like that and routines like that, done very, very, very well. Mr. Mac Pollock minimizing his deductions. 4-1 start value. 13-1 score. Meaning that he only had 1 point off, pardon me. If he had 1/10, that'd be a massive routine for Greenville. But 1 point off, nonetheless, is another massive score that these guys want. Next up, we have Mr. Logan Watterson contributing many routines today for Greenville. I was not expecting that. Looks like the man's been working hard. Nice Yamawaki to mount with. Beautiful straddle to Tkachev. Nicely done pike to Tkachev. It's like a flying squirrel going back onto that bar for those releases. Playing it smart with that free hip to handstand. Good blind change. Pirouette. Up. Slight flutter on the pirouette. Not supposed to do that, buddy. Let's see what we got next. Half and half out. Stuck landing. All right. So made up for it. He's pumped. I'm pumped for you, dude. That was insane. Look at that. That's what men's gymnastics is all about, man. Putting together the routine you worked all year for, especially at home, and just darting in front of a crowd. That is a tremendous set. Score for Logan Myers came in 14-0, 5-0 start value. Beautifully done. That's something to be very proud of, Logan. Great work. All right, next up we have Ryan for the Fighting Illini. Please don't ask me to pronounce that last name. All right. Nice Yamawaki to endo up. All right, so put it over slightly on the top half. Not too bad. Huge layout to Tkachev. That's how it's done. Good man. Nice straddle to Tkachev. Good support on the bar following that. Hopefully he connects that in the future. Beautiful one-arm giant. Winding up for the dismount. Put it down now. All right. University of Illinois bringing it, clapping back with these sticks. Showing Greenville that they aren't the only ones who can put on a show. Gotta love those stuck landings. Mr. Logan Watterson stuck his dismount, 13.8 start value, and a 12.25 score. All right, now this is the routine I am very excited for. This is Mr. Jacob Foster. Super tall gymnast, super powerful athlete, to say the least. Does a massive triple backflip dismount. I really hope he does it today because it is huge. Huge is an understatement to describe this guy's gymnastics. See what we got here today. Nice Yamawaki thrown over the bar. Here we got. Beautiful stalder, very powerful. You can see just the way he flickers off to the bottom. Here's his team yelling for him. And it's locking in. Beautiful top half.
Talking about my screen or the.
And winding up. 1, 2, 3. That's how you do it. Let's go, Jacob Foster. Very nicely done. He is hyped. I'm hyped with him. That was amazing. All right. Pardon the interruptions over there. We're trying to get Mr. Jim back on the podcast, or on the podcast, excuse me, on the live stream. But yeah, massive routine for Mr. Jacob Foster. Up next we have Tate Costa. I'll let them figure it out. I'll try not to talk over Isaac too much as he tries to help Jim get back in. Beautiful talk half. Gearing up for some. Whoa, massive Coleman. Let's see, come on, winding up for another huge release. Beautifully done, Kovacs. Perfect distance. Nice stalder to pike stalder. And I put it away a bit. Oh, unlucky. All right, so he looks like he went for the gym. Jim, welcome back. I missed you, man.
Hey, thank you. Hey, just had a little bit of a, well, stuff happens. And I'm back, and I'm certainly unfortunate that jam missed the grip. Somehow the dowel must not have been around the bar. But, hey, thanks for your efforts. Boy, I've been just listening and enjoying your commentary, Carlos. So take it away for the rest of this set.
Oh, thank you, Jim. All right, now we have Tate coming up to finish this set. His teammates are picking him back up. That's how you do it. Get back up and get the skill back. Good in location in the shoulders. This guy's a big contributor for Illinois on high bar. All right, and yeah, just a bit short on that dismount, but unfortunate. To get back up after a fall is very tough. So, a lot of admiration for him. It's a long day. You're waiting. You're doing all 6 routines for your team. It's a lot. It's a long game. Hopefully he can lock in before Winter Cup and put up a good showing then, and obviously for the rest of the season. So, Jim, what did you think of this high bar rotation so far? Did you happen to catch that triple back?
I did. These guys are doing mature gymnastics. It's a great testament to the quality of NCAA gymnastics and what guys are doing in this country right now.
100%. Up next, we have Mr. Donovan Deviney, another huge contributor for Greenville. He has some beautiful high bar work, such as this Zuli Min, done very nicely. Just a bit shuffle of the feet. See what we got. Nice talk half. Slightly pushed it over, be secure. All right, come on now, son. Put it back on the bar. Huge Coleman. Good fight. Nice Stalder. Beautiful one-arm giant. Winding up for the dismount. Come on now, son. Stoy. That's how you finish for. Oh! Unlucky. Celebrated a bit too early, don't you think?
Just slide your heels together. Oh, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just make it as good as you can do it and put your heels together. Overall, a beautiful routine. And again, we've been saying this for 6 events now. Those Greenville guys are doing really quality gymnastics. Fine showing all around.
Absolutely. And they should be very happy, very content with that high bar rotation. All hits, 2 sticks, almost had a 3rd stick. That would have been tremendous for them to finish out. But, it's early in the season, so I think they're just very satisfied with this performance that they put up today. Greenville notches a 388.65. That is a score to be proud of. They have room to grow, so I'm excited to see them threaten for 390, even 395 later in the future. Over on the right, we have the University of Illinois with a 400.95, breaking into the 400s, and some solid, a solid finish from their. Pardon me. Looks like their starting guy and their anchor just had a bit of issues on high bar. Bahe was going for a nice talk full. It's a big boy skill to go for as a freshman, so props to him. Hopefully he'll get it under his belt before the college season really kicks into gear. And then some beautiful gymnastics done by Logan Myers, keeping his deductions as minimal as possible. I think he had the cleanest routine of the day. 14, obviously it showed as the highest score of the night. And yeah, that was a crazy competition. Very happy that I got to commentate that with you, Jim. Jim, what were your thoughts on today's competition?
I'm just really, first of all, I agree. It's our initial time together, Carlos. And as I said in pre-production, if I can be the Kathy Johnson to your Bart Connors, then we're going to make a great team. And in terms of what actually happened on the floor today, I've been raving about Greenville the whole time. Sliding back over to the Illini side, the heavy hitters pretty much showed up as expected on their events, and they are a mature powerhouse team. It's January and they're already over 400. It's going to be a great season, and I'm looking forward to seeing both these teams, but especially the Illini continue on an upward climb as they head to Big Tens and the NCAAs. Great afternoon in college gymnastics.
Could not agree more. Let's look at some of the leaderboards. Looks like today's winner on floor was Mr. Michael Fletcher. He had an amazing routine earlier, keeping his deductions at a minimal 9-0 execution, highest execution of the night. And Connor McCool in second place with a nice 13.65. Hopefully he can clean up that second to last pass and, show the world once again why he's one of the best floor workers in the nation. And here we have Michael Avery from Greenville, clenching onto that 3rd place position. Very good showing from him. Very clean routine. And honestly, the only person to stick. Sorry, Jim, go right ahead.
I was just going to interrupt you there. Notice the difference in start value between Michael and Connor. Michael's routine was really clean, and therefore he's able to medal, doing gymnastics within his realm of capability.
100%. And then here we have Pommel Horse. Today's winner was Mr. Brandon Dang with a 14.45. That huge 6.5 start value. So it looks like the difficulty paid off for him today. Obviously the highest in the field by well over a point. That is tremendous. And then looks like the Illinois swept the podium on Pommel Horse today with Will Hawk also having another very strong performance with a 13.6. And Tate Costa falling right behind him, right at his heels with 13.55.
Yeah, and I go back up to Brandon for just a moment. That execution is going to be a point higher by the time he gets to NCAAs, and he's going to be right there for the national championship. Great pommel horse today. Really impressed with everybody's technique.
No kidding. Yeah, they had a very, very good showing on horse today from all athletes, really. Even with the ones that had some issues there. I mean, they were able to pick back. They were able to pick back up and deliver at the end. Over here, undoubtedly, the winner of the night was Ashton and Nyon. Still rings, massive 5.6 start value, huge 14.45. Won the event by over a point over his teammate Ethan Boder. And then in third place, there was a tie by the Greenville Panthers. One of my best friends, Mr. Sergey Popov. Very proud of you today, buddy. Nice 13-1 start value with a stuck landing. And then Mr. Landon Bennis right behind him with a 13-1 as well. I think Sergey wins the tiebreak in this one because of his higher execution. Go on, Jim. Sorry.
You segued into it perfectly. Sergey segue, 8.7 execution. The E score is what I always look for at this stage of the season. Guys are throwing stuff and trying to do things, but you need to be clean. The most fundamental part of gymnastics is to do the skills cleanly and technically correct, whatever you're doing. And for the X number of time today, Greenville and Zach Peters guys are really emphasizing that, and it really had a great home meet today.
Yes, in fact, they did. And let's see, the vault winner of the day was Mr. Garrett Schooley with a huge 14.75 triple full vault. Arguably, done tremendously well. No question about it. That was tremendous. And then another Illinois sweep with Mr. Evan Manavong with a 5.2, a nice started 5.2, 14.7 score. And then Michael Fletcher right behind him with a 14.6. Michael Avery and Logan Watterson tied for that fourth place spot. But again, on the heels of Illinois and that vault rotation, that was also very exciting seeing all those sticks.
I think that 9.65 E score for Mr. Avery was the highest on any event, which tends to be true, of course, but there isn't a whole lot that they took off on that routine, on that ball.
Agreed. If he adds a half twist, there's no reason why he can't threaten for one of those top spots. And then let's see, over on parallel bars, the winner of the day was Tate Costa with a nice parallel bar set. Obviously stuck landing, won him the gold today. And then Michael Fletcher right behind him with a 13.5. And then another Greenville tie with Kobe Cantu and Jackson Clapper, each going for a 13.3 apiece. And then rounding out the rotations today was high bar with another Illinois sweep, two-way tie for second. I'll start with that one first with Ryan and Sebastian going 13.3 each. And it looks like Ryan was able to sneak in because of that stuck landing. So that's why he got that second place finish as well. And Logan Myers with a tremendous high bar routine. Beautifully done. 5-0 start, 14-0 score, winner of the night. And the Greenville guys all behind afterwards. And then Mr. Tate, unfortunate with that jam to handstand error. But, sometimes that's just how the sport goes. You got to pick yourself up, evaluate what went wrong, and, move forward afterwards and see what's going to change on the next go around, right?
Absolutely. But make a little mental note of Max Pollock. That 4.1 D score can go way up over the next couple of months, because he's got that under complete control if you look at his execution. So I'm looking for Mac to add some things between now and ECAC is the league that the Panthers are in. So when Easterns comes around, I'm looking for Max Pollock to make a dent in that Mary group.
Undoubtedly. And then your all-around winner for today was Mr. Tate Costa with a nice 79.15. Oh, very close to breaking that 80. And then Mr. Landon Bennis in second place. I don't think he completed a full all-around program, but that's our. Oh, well, maybe I'm looking. Nope, that was correct. Yeah, they only did a couple of events, so he was the only all-arounder today. Sorry, Jim. Go right ahead.
No, Mr. Costa would have been well over 80 if high bar gone a little bit better. But it's not difficult to be first place in all around if you're the only guy that's done all 6 events. But what a great competition! I mean, these young men are doing some really fine gymnastics, and it's been a blast to do this with you there, Carlos, and to see all the quality stuff that we were able to see today.
I agree, Jim. It was a pleasure to commentate with you today. Special thank you to Virtius for having us commentate. This has been a tremendous experience. I loved every rotation. I loved even with the little, technical difficulty there, being able to pick it back up was, all right. And thank you to everybody who stayed all the way through to the end and watched the competition. I hope you guys enjoyed. Continue to follow along with Virtius and more virtual streams. Hopefully Jim and I get invited back and we continue to commentate more as the season goes on.
Much hope so. Carlos, I enjoyed working with you every minute of this. And I guess I'm going to sign off with Glenn Sunby's old comment, the founder and many decade editor of International Gymnast Magazine. Glenn used to sign off, and I'm saying this, have a happy handstand, everybody. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Have a happy handstand. Well, that's great. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for watching the stream. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks and gig 'em. Have a good